The proximity alarm jarred Alara from her sleep, its harsh tone cutting through the perpetual hum of Jupiter Research Station. She fumbled for her tablet, squinting at the alert, unidentified object on collision course. Through her viewport, she glimpsed a streak of fire against the gas giant's swirling clouds. Computer, what is that? Alara pulled her lab coat over her sleep clothes. Unknown craft, approximately 4 meters in diameter. Trajectory suggests controlled descent despite hull damage. Alara's heart raced. As the station's senior xenobiologist, first contact protocols fell to her. Track landing coordinates and prepare my rover. The object crashed on Europa's icy surface, leaving a steaming gash in the moon's crust. Alara piloted her rover across the frozen terrain, breath fogging the helmet of her pressure suit. The fallen craft was unlike anything in human records, teardrop-shaped with an iridescent hull that seemed to pulse with faint light. This is Dr. Alara Voss of Jupiter Research Station. Do you require assistance? She broadcast on all frequencies. The craft's side split open with a hiss. Alara stepped back, hand hovering over her emergency beacon. A figure stumbled out, collapsing onto the ice. Alara rushed forward, medical training overriding caution. The alien was humanoid, but undeniably not human. Her skin was a deep purple that seemed to shimmer in the starlight, with delicate ridge-like markings along her temples. A dark, liquid blood seeped from a wound in her side. I need help, the alien whispered in perfect, accented English. Her eyes startlingly violet, locking with Alara's before rolling back as she lost consciousness. Alara made a split-second decision that would change everything. Computer, disabled tracking on my rover and erase the last hour of surveillance footage. She loaded the alien into her rover and returned to the station through a maintenance airlock, bypassing security protocols. In her private lab, she sealed the doors and laid the alien on her examination table. The wound was deep, but the physiology seemed workable, close enough to human that Alara's medical knowledge might help. She cleaned the injury, applied synthetic skin grafts, and administered broad-spectrum antibiotics. Hours later, the alien's eyes fluttered open. You didn't report me, she said weakly. Not yet, Alara replied, checking vital signs on her scanner. I'm Alara, Nix the alien responded. Third envoy to the Galactic Assembly, though that title means little now. She tried to sit up, but winced in pain. Easy. Alara steadied her. You've lost blood. Why are you here? Why speak our language? Nix's expression darkened. I'm a diplomat. I study civilizations. Yours has been of particular interest. She glanced at the sealed lab doors. Are you risking your position by helping me? Alara nodded. Unauthorized alien contact is a serious violation. Then why? Alara's hands stilled on her scanner. Because you needed help. Because I've spent my life studying theoretical alien biology, and you're the first proof we're not alone. She paused. And because you looked afraid? Nix's fingers brushed Alara's wrist, the touch sending an unexpected shiver through her. With good reason? Those who sent me running will come looking. Her violet eyes held Ilar's. You should have left me in the ice. Too late now, Ilar said, a half-smile forming. Tell me why you're running, and maybe we can figure out what to do next. As Jupiter's storms raged outside the viewport, Nix began her story. Her voice soft but urgent against the background hum of the station's life support systems. Days passed in a delicate dance of secrecy. Alara reprogrammed her lab's environmental controls to match the atmospheric composition. Nix needed slightly higher oxygen levels with trace elements unfamiliar to Earth's periodic table. She diverted medical supplies from storage, logging them as experimental xenobiology simulations. After her colleagues retired to their quarters, she returned to Nix. Your wound is healing faster than I expected, Alara noted, removing the bandage to reveal new tissue already forming. My people regenerate quickly, Nix explained. She sat cross-legged on Alara's cot, wearing borrowed clothes that hung loosely on her slender frame. A necessity when you evolve on a world with 3 suns and constant radiation? Alara's fingers lingered on Nix's skin, noting the subtle differences smoother, slightly cooler to the touch. Why were you near our system? The official stance of Earth governments is that intelligent alien life remains undiscovered.
Oh, yes.
Nix smiled wryly. Your governments know more than they admit. My people, the Lysari, have been observing Earth for decades. I was part of the diplomatic corps assigned to prepare for eventual contact. Then why were you running? Who damaged your ship? Nix's expression darkened. My own people. There are factions among us those who see humans as dangerous, unpredictable. Others who view your planet as a resource to be harvested, her fingers intertwined with Elaraz. I argued for peaceful engagement, cultural exchange. It made me enemies. As Nix's strength returned, they developed a routine. By day, Ilara attended her regular duties, deflecting questions about her latest research project that kept her working late. By night, they shared knowledge, Nix teaching Ilara the complex musical language of the Lysari, Ilara explaining human customs and history. This gesture means greeting, Nix asked, attempting to replicate a handshake. Ilara laughed. Close here, like this. She took Nix's hand in hers, the purple skin contrasting with her own tan complexion. The touch lingered, and something shifted between them, a current of understanding that transcended language. Nix taught Ilara about the Galactic Assembly 17 spacefaring civilizations united in loose confederation. Earth is not ready for membership, but some of us believed you should be prepared for the knowledge you're not alone. Is that why you risked everything? Ilara asked one night as they sat shoulder to shoulder, watching Jupiter's storms through the lab viewport. Partly, Nix replied, her voice soft. I believe in connection across differences. My faction thought humanity deserved the chance to join us on its own terms, not through conquest or subjugation, and now I'm a fugitive. The military faction gained control of our diplomatic corps. They plan to approach Earth as a potential threat to be neutralized rather than as equals. Nix turned to face Ilara, their faces inches apart. I couldn't let that happen without warning someone. In the dim light of the lab, with Jupiter's glow painting them in amber and shadow, Ilara felt herself drawn forward. Their lips met, tentative at first. Then, with growing certainty, an impossible connection across the stars as they separated. Relentless. The lab's emergency alert flashed red. Unauthorized scan in progress, the computer announced. Security protocols initiated. Nix's eyes widened in alarm. They found me. Don't move, Ilara whispered, heart pounding as she crossed to her terminal. Security sweeps were routine but rarely targeted specific labs. Someone was suspicious. Dr. Voss, Commander Chen's voice crackled over the intercom. Our sensors detected unusual energy signatures from your lab. I need you to open up immediately. Ilara's mind raced. Chen was reasonable, but unyielding on security protocols. Just finishing a sensitive experiment, Commander? Give me 5 minutes to stabilize it. 3 minutes, Doctor. Then we override. Nix moved silently to Ilara's side. I should surrender. You've risked too much already. No. Ilara squeezed Nix's hand. They'll detain you, study you like a specimen. I won't let that happen. She activated her emergency protocols, sealing samples and encrypting data. There's a maintenance shaft behind my storage unit. It leads to the auxiliary hangar. You're coming with me? Nix asked, surprise evident in her violet eyes. Ilara hesitated only briefly. My work here has always been about finding life beyond Earth. Now I've found not letting go. She pressed her palm to the hidden panel, revealing the narrow passage. I have access codes to a research shuttle. As they moved through the narrow tunnels of the station's infrastructure, alarm klaxons began to wail. Breach in Laboratory 7. All personnel on alert. They reached the auxiliary hangar breathless. The small research shuttle designed for short orbital surveys of Europa sat waiting. Ilira's access code still worked. The door hissed open. Dr. Voss. Commander Chen's voice echoed across the hangar. He stood at the entrance with 2 security officers, weapon drawn but pointed downward. Step away from the shuttle. Ilara positioned herself between the commander and Nix. She's a diplomat, Chen, not a threat. We have protocols for first contact scenarios. You know this. Chen's expression softened slightly. Whatever you think you're doing, this isn't the way. She came to warn us. Her people are divided on how to approach Earth. Some want peaceful contact. Others see us as a threat to eliminate. Ilara didn't move from her protective stance. If you detain her, you're proving the warmongers right. Chen's gaze shifted to Nyx, taking in her alien features. Is this true? Nyx stepped forward, hands raised in a universal gesture of peace. I am Third Envoy Nyx of the Lycery Diplomatic Corps. I came seeking allies among humans who would help prevent a war between our species. For a moment, the hangar was silent, except for the distant alarms. Then Chen slowly lowered his weapon. If what you're saying is true, this goes beyond station protocol. We need to contact Earth Command. No. Ilara and Nyx said simultaneously. The Lycery have infiltrators in your communications networks, Nyx explained. Any official channel will alert those who want me silenced. Chen's expression hardened again. You're asking me to ignore direct orders. I'm asking you to prevent an interspecies war, Ilara countered. Give us 48 hours to reach my contact at the Lunar Embassy. Ambassador Quan can facilitate a secure meeting. The tension stretched between them like a taut wire. Finally, Chen sighed. 48 hours? Then I report everything. And Ilara, his eyes met hers. You better be right about this. As the shuttle engines ignited, Ilara felt Nyx's hand slip into hers. Through the viewport, Jupiter loomed massive and indifferent to the small dramas playing out in its shadow. Ahead lay Earth, beautiful and vulnerable, unaware of its place in a larger cosmic community. Thank you, Nyx whispered, her thumb tracing circles on Ilara's palm. For believing in me, always, Ilara replied, setting course for the Lunar Embassy, where Earth's future now hung in the balance. The shuttle hummed softly as it slipped past Mars' orbit, Earth growing larger in the view screen. Nyx stood transfixed by the blue planet, her violet skin reflecting the glow of instrument panels. It's beautiful, she whispered. We have paintings of Earth in our archives, but they capture nothing of its presence. Ilara checked the navigation system. 12 hours until we reach lunar orbit? We should rest. She hesitated. Are you sure Ambassador Quan will help us? Nyx turned from the viewport. Your ambassador has been communicating with Lycery moderates for months, without your government's knowledge. She's been preparing for eventual contact? And the attack? Ilara asked. You still haven't told me everything. Nyx's shoulders tensed. She moved to the small sleeping quarters and sat on the edge of the bunk, patting the space beside her. When Ilara joined her, their thighs touching, Nyx took a deep breath. The military faction has developed a bioweapon specifically designed for human physiology. They plan to release it simultaneously in major population centers. Her fingers trembled as she reached for Ilara's hand. It would be devastating, but not complete extinction. They want to weaken humanity enough to establish dominance without destroying Earth's ecosystems. Ilara felt ice in her veins. How long do we have?
30 days.
Maybe less. Nyx's violet eyes held unshed tears. I downloaded proof before I fled deployment plans, molecular structures of the pathogen. It's encoded in this. She touched a metallic disc embedded in her wrist, nearly invisible against her skin. Ilara traced her finger over the disc. That's why they hunted you so aggressively. Yes, Nyx leaned forward until their foreheads touched. I never expected to find someone like you when I crashed. Someone who would risk everything for a stranger. You're not a stranger anymore, Ilara whispered. Their lips met, soft at first, then with growing urgency. Hands explored unfamiliar contours, the ridges along Nyx's spine, the unusual warmth at the hollow of her throat. Later, tangled together in the narrow bunk, Ilara traced patterns on Nyx's purple skin. What happens after we reach Ambassador Quan? If we succeed, Nyx's expression clouded. Best outcome. Earth prepares defenses while Quan uses our evidence to convince moderate Lycery factions to overthrow the militarists. Worst outcome? I'm labeled a traitor. You're charged with treason, and both our species stumble into war anyway. The ship's alarm cut through the moment proximity alert. Ilara jumped up, pulling on her flight suit. We're still hours from lunar orbit. A sleek craft, angular and predatory, appeared on the view screen. Its design was unmistakably non-human. Lasari pursuit vessel, Nix confirmed, face pale. Military class. How did they find us so quickly? The wrist implant. It must have activated when we left Jupiter's radiation field. Nix's eyes widened. Ilara, you need to jettison me in an escape pod. If they capture you too? Ilara silenced her with a fierce kiss. Not happening. We do this together. She turned to the controls. Can this shuttle outrun them? No, but Nix studied the navigation display. There's a debris field from an old Earth satellite near Venus. If we can reach it, the radiation might mask our signature long enough to slip past. Ilara plotted the course. Hold on, this will be rough. The shuttle lurched as Ilara pushed its engines beyond safety parameters. Behind them, the Lysari vessel adjusted course in pursuit, weapon systems powering up. Whatever happens, Nix said, her hand finding Ilara's on the control panel. I don't regret finding you. Lara smiled grimly. We're not done yet. The shuttle plunged toward Venus, the chess game of survival playing out against the backdrop of stars. The lunar embassy rose from the moon's surface like a collection of soap. Bubbles, transparent domes interconnected by sleek tubes, Earth hanging massive and blue in the black sky above. Inside the diplomatic reception chamber, Ambassador Quan studied the data projected from Nix's wrist implant, her expression grave. This confirms our worst fears, Quan said finally. We suspected the Lysari military faction was gaining influence, but this BIOWEAPON. ... She shook her head. You've taken an extraordinary risk bringing this to us. Envoy Nix. The risk was shared, Nix replied, glancing at Ilara, who stood nearby with bandaged hands, injuries from their desperate navigation through the Venus debris field that had allowed them to evade the pursuit vessel. Quan nodded. Dr. Voss will receive full immunity. Your actions have likely saved millions of lives. She tapped her console. I've transmitted the pathogen structure to Earth's defense laboratories. They'll begin developing countermeasures immediately. That addresses only half the problem, Ilara pointed out. We need to stop the attack at its source. Agreed, as Quan's gaze returned to Nix. I've arranged a secure transmission to the Lysari Council of Moderates. They're prepared to act on your evidence, but they require something more, a direct appeal from someone they trust. Nix straightened. I'll speak to them. Not alone, Ilara interjected, moving to stand beside her. Hours later, they stood before the transmission array. On the screen, 7 Lysari representatives appeared, their purple skin displaying. Various patterns that Ilara now understood indicated clan and status. Nix addressed them in the musical Lysari language, occasionally switching to English for Ilara's benefit. She presented the evidence of the military faction's plans, emphasizing the opportunity for a different path. Humans are not the savages our military faction portrays, Nix concluded. I've lived among them, experienced their compassion firsthand. Her fingers found Ilara's. They seek understanding, not conflict. I ask you to help prevent this war before it begins. The lead counselor leaned forward. Your evidence is compelling, third envoy. But what guarantee can humans offer that they won't turn our own bioweapons against us once they develop countermeasures? Ilara stepped forward. No guarantees. Only choice. We choose cooperation over conflict. Knowledge over fear. She squeezed Nix's hand. What we found together, human and Lysari, is worth protecting. Long silence followed. Finally, the counselor nodded. We will act tonight. The military leadership will be detained, their operations suspended. His gaze softened. Your exile is rescinded, third envoy. You've served our people well, though through unconventional means. After the transmission ended, Ilara and Nix stood in silence, the enormity of what they'd accomplished settling around them. What happens now? Ilara asked finally. Will you return to your people? Nix turned to face her, reaching up to trace the curve of Ilara's cheek. My diplomatic status has been restored, yes. But I think the Lysari Council will agree we need a permanent ambassador to Earth. Her lips curved into a smile. someone who understands humans intimately. That position could take years to establish, Alara said, trying to keep hope from making her voice tremble. Years I would spend wherever you are, Nyx replied, if you'll have me. As they kissed, Earth turned slowly in the viewport beside them, one world among many in a universe. Suddenly much larger and more hopeful than it had been before. In the Lunar Embassy archives, their story would eventually be recorded as the beginning of Earth's official entry into the Galactic Assembly. But in that moment, beneath Earth's watchful gaze, it was simply the story of two beings who had crossed the stars to find each other, and in doing so, changed the course of two civilizations.